I am a Spartan, and this is the last day of my life. But let me tell you how we got here. It was the year 480 BC, and the world was about to burn. The Persian king Xerxes, the first, crossed the Hellespont with an army so vast, it drank rivers dry. Thousands of ships, hundreds of thousands of men. From every corner of his empire. Warriors from Egypt, Babylon, India, all marching under one banner: submit to Persia, or be destroyed. Most Greek cities hesitated. Some surrendered, others argued. But one stood firm. Sparta, our king, Leonidas, knew what was coming. He knew we could not stop the Persians in open plains, but we could choose the ground. A narrow pass, Thermopylae, where the mountains met the sea, no more than a few meters wide. A place where numbers meant nothing, only courage did. Leonidas took 300 Spartans, his royal guard, all men with living sons, so our bloodline would not die. We marched north to hold the pass. Allies joined us: Thespians, Thebans, men from other cities. But we were still just a few thousand, facing a storm. When Xerxes demanded we lay down our weapons, Leonidas replied, "Come and take them." And so began the stand. The Persians came in waves: Medes, Scythians, then the Immortals. Xerxes' elite. We fought in tight phalanx, shield to shield, spear to throat. Every inch of ground paid in blood. They thought we would break. We didn't. We fought for our land, for our families, for honor, and for each other. 3 days passed. We held. We bled. But we stood. And then came betrayal. A Greek named Ephialtes revealed a hidden path through the mountains. A back door, Leonidas knew. At dawn, he dismissed most of the allied troops. They had fought with honor. Now they would live to fight another day, but we, the 300, remained. Because sometimes, to light a fire in the hearts of free men, you need a funeral pyre. In the next chapter, I'll tell you what happened when death came for us, and we welcomed it, because glory is not in surviving. It's in standing when no one else will. The sun rose red on the 4th day. We could smell smoke on the wind, and we knew. Xerxes was coming from both sides. The Persians had taken the mountain path. They would be upon us by midday. But we did not kneel. We did not run. Leonidas gathered us beneath the cliffs. His voice was steady. "Calm," he said. "Spartans, this is where we die. Let us make sure history never forgets what we did here." No one flinched. We adjusted our cloaks, checked our blades. We stood shoulder to shoulder, and we waited. The first wave hit us like thunder, a wall of iron and leather, shouting in tongues we did not know, but we knew the language of war. Our phalanx locked tight. We drove them back with spears and grit, our discipline cutting through their numbers. The enemy thought to overwhelm us. They couldn't believe men so few could strike so hard. They sent in archers. Arrows darkened the sky. One of our younger warriors joked, "Then we shall fight in the shade." We laughed. Then we raised our shields and stood our ground. More waves came, immortals in gold and black. Elephants, cavalry, fire. We fought them all. The bodies piled so high, we had to climb over them to move. Our spears broke. We switched to swords. When the swords dulled, we fought with shields, with fists, with teeth. Then, from behind the sound we dreaded, Persians pouring down the mountain path, encircling us. We were trapped. Leonidas stood at the center of it all, bloodied, breathing hard, but his eyes steady, bright. He raised his sword and charged. We followed. Not for victory. For defiance. Every man knew this was the end. But none held back. We cut through their lines like fire through dry brush. We made them bleed for every inch. We showed them that freedom has a cost, and some men are willing to pay it in full. I saw Leonidas fall, pierced by arrows, still standing, still fighting. We dragged his body back with our last breath. We made a wall around him, a circle of steel. And when the Persians finally broke us, they did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They looked at the bodies of 300 Spartans, and they trembled, because they had won a pass. But they had lost the myth of invincibility. In the final chapter, I will tell you what happened after our deaths, how our stands sparked a fire across Greece, and how 300 men bought time for a nation to rise. They thought our story would end in silence, but death has its own voice, and ours roared through Greece. When the Persian scouts returned with news of Thermopylae, they did not speak of conquest. They spoke of madmen in red cloaks who would not yield, of warriors who smiled into death's face and spat in its eye. The tale spread from village to polis, from the Peloponnesus to the Aegean. 300 Spartans. One pass. 3 days of defiance. And suddenly, the Greeks who had bickered, hesitated, doubted, remembered who they were. Sparta sent more troops. Athens rallied its navy. Themistocles, a brilliant mind and a cunning leader, lured the Persian fleet into the narrow straits of Salamis. There, the tide turned. The massive Persian navy, built for open sea dominance, was crushed by smaller, faster Greek triremes. Ships splintered. Men drowned. Even Xerxes, watching from a golden throne on the cliffs, was forced to retreat. In the months that followed at Plataea, Greek hoplites broke the back of the Persian land army. And just like that, the greatest empire in the world was stopped by a band of free city-states who had refused to kneel. But none of that would have happened without Thermopylae, without the message carved in blood at that narrow pass. Freedom is not given, it is claimed. And sometimes, it is bought with the lives of men who will never live to see it flourish. Years later, travelers came to the battlefield. They found nothing but ruins, bones, rusted weapons. But on a stone near the mountain, they found these words. Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie, and we are still here. In memory, in story, in every man and woman who stands when surrender is easier. We were not gods. We were not perfect. We were simply men who chose to fight when it mattered most. Thank you for watching Battle Reborn. If this story moved you, share it, because legends don't survive in stone. They survive in the telling. And as long as someone remembers us, we have not truly fallen.